Tugboat, I think you're coming in now, right?
Yep, I'm coming in now. Sorry about that. Hey,
Right.
it's not an FBI Tugboat cast without starting it off muted on VMix. Gotta love it. FBI Tugboat, PyroJ, we're here, Rocket League fans. The NECC Finals. We'll be hopping around to a bunch of different divisions here on the day. Pyro, how are you feeling?
Good. I'm feeling bouncy. I'm ready to hop around myself. We're kicking it off with Division 8. Okay, we cover all the Rocket League action here on NECC, so you got to get ready for it all. But then we're following up with Division 1 and Division 2. Maybe some of those teams that you're more used to. But talk about one thing similar with all of these teams is that they have fought the hardest, the longest, the best to be our top 2 teams in this first semester. Couldn't be more thrilled to get it going.
Absolutely. And opportunities like this one are possible, of course, due to some organizations like Buy Blue Light. Gamers, your eyes take a beating out there, but Buy Blue Light have you covered. Their premium blue light glasses keep you sharp, focused, and ready for victory without the eye strain. Level up your game and protect your vision. Check out Buy Blue Light today, which is the official eye care partner of the NECC. Now, of course, that is Buy BYE Blue Light. You can go over there to Buy 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 Blue Light glasses. A lot in there. Let's take a look at first here. This is the Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars squad. That is FaZe Booth. That is Gritty Man and APL, which I'm pretty sure is pronounced Apple.
I think you got that right. Yep, for that is for our first team, Mount Vernon, Nazarene University, headed over to the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, Mikey C, Zath, and Candyman. So we'll be seeing if all the sweets and the treats are given out, or maybe a few tricks are up the sleeves of UMass. Either way, the tricks have to have already been pulled out of the hat for this competition for both teams to get to the finals. I believe our players are in the lobby. I believe our players are in the NECC Fall Finals of Division 8 are on.
Yes, folks. Some people talk about celebrating Christmas, playing Christmas music too early, right? PyroJ talking about trick or treating 2 weeks after, or a week after Thanksgiving. Mikey C though is going to be able to get the first one here for your Dartmouth Corsairs.
Listen, if you don't think I'm still snacking on Halloween discount candy in December, you are wrong, my friend. You are so wrong. And you'd be wrong to discount the efforts of the University of Massachusetts. Already one on the board to get things going. A long best of 7 underway, but Tug, it doesn't hurt to get a first goal in quick.
No, it does not. And the control coming out here from the Corsairs so far has really won the day. Candyman coming up to this one, but cannot quite maintain operations of their car. Take it to the corner, pick up a big boost along the way. Zale now putting this down to the left-hand corner, bouncing across mid-pitch, but that's going to be easily picked up. It turns into a passing play. Apple almost reaches to the top of the tree for this one.
Yeah, gravity decided to be the dominant factor there, though, bringing the ball where inertia had it set forth in the beginning. It was towards the orange net. UMass having to put up a couple blocks there to defend their 1-goal lead, and that they will do. But it's pretty clear that so far, Cougars are not done fighting. Coming down, dropping on is UMass, but this ball's still up for grabs in the midfield. We'll see who picks it up.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure early from the UMass Corsairs. Got a goal so quickly, a game didn't even count a shot in there. None for either team so far 90 seconds in, and that is a stat I would not have anticipated. These two teams did not get here by mistake. D8 it might have been. We'll see how this continues to go. Passing plays at least the attempts have been present, Pyro.
Yeah, that's all you can count on at a certain point for game number 1 is just establish that offense, see what works, figure out what doesn't. You're going to come up against a ton of different competitors with different strengths and weaknesses of their own. Maybe it's the chip shots, maybe it's the dribbles and the flicks, maybe it's the counterattacks, whatever it is. Establish it now, establish it early, and work on fortifying those strengths as the series goes on.
A great job right there. Believe that was Candyman coming up to it, and that player was teeing off on it. Now it's Candyman with a shot. It wasn't the first attempt. It wasn't even the second. It's always going to be, a nice onslaught of offensive pressure here that usually goes forward to rue the day. UMass, this Dartmouth squad, going up 2-0 about 25 seconds outside of halftime.
Gotta give credit as well to the facilitator of that play. Zaf had taken that 50-50 right before the shot to coordinate it to the midfield. And again, you see Zaf shooting the ball towards the net, following up on it as well, crashing the boards and grabbing a third for their team.
Yeah, double commit on there. Player coming from the top, Apple, was trying to get this more of a clear. Other player just ended up more just getting a stop, honestly. Where it would rest is pretty much right in front of net. And this was not full-on free, but close to it. Discounted, we'll say. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go here. A 3-score lead for the Corsairs.
Big block coming through. Candyman gets it out and away. FaZe Booth was the one with that shot. And, you know, the Cougars are working up some shots, some opportunities. But at a certain point, I want to see the Cougars risk it a little more. They're getting this ball across the face of the net. But that lunge for that shot taker to be there in front of the net, finish the play, hasn't quite been present. Again, you see Cougar players peeling off the play, but for this time, it's for good reason. Apple had it in from the beginning.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Second overall shot for this squad. FaZe Booth owns the other one. This one's finally going to find it in. FaZe Booth awarded with the assist on this one. Maybe a little bit of life here with plenty of time, Pyro, for the Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars.
Yeah, Mount Vernon certainly still in this one, and, you know, it's good for them to open the floodgates before the 2-minute mark, especially in game number 1. It is the final. It's been a long semester for these teams, but every match in Rocket League, you kind of start at 0. You know, I've seen Rocket League teams at all stages of this game just say, well, it wasn't our day. And you want to prove early and often that it is your day, especially when it comes to finals.
Absolutely. Hey, there's not really any game that doesn't matter in this one, but of course, in case you're unfamiliar and just joining us from last season, all divisions, Division 1 through, I believe, Division 9 for Rocket League. We've got a lot of Rocket League going on with the NECC, Pyro. Every division, best of 7s all the way through. Obviously, we're not going to change that for grand finals either. Now, the difference between this matchup here in D8, Pyro, and the matchups later is that there are bracket reset capabilities here, but for this one, for this best of 7, whoever comes out standing at the end of it will be the victor no matter which team.
That's right. That is right. Winner take all, which is just how I like it. Everything's on the line in just one matchup here for the playoffs. FaZe Booth sharpening their shot for the net, setting it up for Apple. That's been the player to find.
A fantastic bouncing ball right across the middle of this net. Zaf goes up for it and goes under Zaf and over Mikey. Great job putting the just straight up, very simple, putting the ball where defenders are not. 3-2 with 50 seconds to go.
I mean, the bounce shot is really underrated in Rocket League. It's seen as one of the lesser mechanical displays in Rocket League, but if that's the most efficient route around the defenders, then what's wrong with it in the first place? It has earned Mount Vernon a 1-goal game now and put this game 1 in winnable territory.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a 3-score run, so they should be really, really happy with how this is turning out as of right now. Lofted ball, left corner. I mean, there is not a whole lot of time for Mount Vernon to come out after this. And you kind of see this categorical shift of this Dartmouth squad just kind of trying to play keep away and maintain a lead that they enjoyed across the first half of this. Oh, corner posted out. Oh, my goodness. Got to get this ball aloft. Got to get it aloft right now. 000s on the clock. Last bounce. And that's going to be enough for the UMass Corsairs to take game numero uno in this best of 7.
One of the last stays in Heartbreak Hotel has been taken up and reserved by the Cougars. Mount Vernon coming just pixels away from that equalizer. And that's no simple equalizer, Tugboat. I mean, at this point, that was a big run for Mount Vernon. 2 goals in a row to bring it within 1. That came across the last 3 minutes of gameplay. It felt like they were one of the climbers on Mount Everest, but they ended up as one of the ones that just barely didn't make it to the top.
It's fair. It's fair. Dangerous situation here indeed. No more higher stakes than it is in the grand finals, Pyro. It's so interesting to me that it's the kickoff, right? It's the very first kickoff for UMass in the first like 7 seconds of this game or something like this that ends up being the defining factor. If you look at the numbers as well, 6 total shots here from Mount Vernon, only 4 for the side of UMass. And again, they weren't even awarded one for the initial kickoff goal right here. So essentially 5 versus 6, and this very easily could have been a 2-2. Like in almost any other world, right? The third shot here for the side of Mount Vernon goes in and not like, hits corner post and actually goes in. The initial shot for UMass doesn't go in off a kickoff. This is 2-2 or 3-3, and we're still watching it in overtime. So very, very even-handed thus far. Both of these teams have really earned their position here in the grand finals.
No doubt about it. We expect this fight to be the toughest, the tightest, and it certainly is formulating that way. Game number 2, we'll see if University of Massachusetts Dartmouth can sort of get their grounds beneath them again. It is 2 goals uncontested in favor of Mount Vernon. Been a bit silent from Massachusetts. Talk about it's hard to tell whether they would just play a defensive game in the second half or if they're going to break loose as soon as game 2 gets kicked off here.
I think it was more of a situation of UMass was able to play an advantage like super early between the kickoff and then the second one, and then the third one comes in. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, chalk it up, dude. This one's almost over. The Nazarene squad brought it back within 1. And again, that last second cornered shot. If that ends up being the real defining factor and this one goes down to 4-3, that's going to be a real bad feels bad, man. Real bad. You don't understand what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, there's a Rocket League mechanic called the Feels Backflip. It is named after the Feels Bad Man. When you try to go for a tall double jump, a fast aerial, and you backflip instead. Neither team's feeling too bad, though. After the first minute of gameplay, it's still tied up here. But this one looking very nice for MVNU. They had that open shot from the elbow. Couldn't lock in on it. But Apple, what a turnaround. On clear, gonna contest them, and that would be the best redirect we've seen all day, Tugboat, but I think it was an own goal.
Right here?
Yep.
Oh, no, I don't think, oh my, wait, no, that bounced off a Gritty Man and inside, right?
Yep.
There's his stuff, third shot total save right there. A couple of saves for Candyman, just can't quite find that.
Wow. I thought for sure that was an own goal. That was a intentional redirect to the bottom corner? That was nuts.
We'll have to watch that replay. I'm like questioning myself at this point. I looked at Gritty Man, looked at the name. All right, regardless, Apple, this one we know went in. It was intentional. FaZe Booth gets on the board here for the assist. So 2 goals, 2 assists for the side of this Mount Vernon squad. This is now the kind of momentum, right? Because if we're taking the goals from last game, Pyro, and putting them to this one, UMass has nothing in the second half of the last game and the past 2 minutes or so of this one.
That's right. Yeah, MVNU on a tear at this point. And, I mean, for 4 goals to go in the net uncontested, very strong showing for this team. Very good turnaround. Looks like Dartmouth really just need 1 goal to spin that off. And look at that Gritty Man, another nice redirect. My apologies again to Gritty Man. I think that was just a lightning fast redirect goal for them. And they're trying to prove those mechanics on nearly every turnaround here.
Yeah, it seems like mechanically speaking, like, who can get aerial and possession and all the twisty-turvy stuff that is required to maintain possession of that ball across the air. It doesn't really seem like either of these teams are, like, afraid of taking it to the air. Like, sure, there's a couple of whiffs. We just kind of saw one. Candyman a little bit there, but teammate was there to back it up regardless. That's how teams play when they know that, not everybody can do the triple dunk, musty flick, everything reset, right? It's like you're ordering everything bagel. Oh
man, I wish I could do that mechanically. I wish I could put it in order and have it my way, but I guess Candyman orders up, dropping it down. 1 goal, Dartmouth score in what's been 5-6 minutes, maybe a game time. That drought ending.
Yeah, gotta feel good right here because everybody can read the writing on the wall, and that is that after a certain point, everyone's going to be looking at UMass. Especially if there's goals coming the other way, kind of be like, well, was that like by mistake? Was this, just something lucky that was found right there? Was that kickoff just the beginning of a deluge? And that answer has now been given from Dartmouth. Gritty going to put themselves in great position, but just doesn't have enough boost to really seal the deal. Another fantastic opportunity. Gritty Man will be down low. Player back. Should have a little bit of boost to get there, tries to, but that's going to be the Dartmouth squad just getting there a little bit too early. Nicely done. Follow up. Both of these too wide.
That's got to be in, right?
Okay.
There it is. There it is. Gritty Man closes the deal. Says we set up shop. We've been open all day. We haven't got a single order. We got at least sell a knick-knack. At least lock in the goal. There it is. MVNU walk away with that third.
Yeah, nice one. 8 total shots here for the Cougars. Only 4 from the Corsairs. I will say that all 4 of these goals, across this map between both these teams have been assisted. So it's a team play ruling the day thus far, Pyro.
It's team game. Car soccer. You need all 3. And Gritty Man. No. Another nearly flawless redirect coming out of Gritty Man. That one just out.
Oh,
but how about the dunk? Apple's got it.
Dude, there's some disrespect attached to this shot as well right here, man. Look at this. Both players up. Zaf, both of them get an honest handle onto this ball and actually make contact. But Apple just, does their best brick wall impersonation and just hits it.
That's what you need. You need the opening. You need to capitalize. And sometimes, honestly, in Rocket League, you got to disrespect your opponents. You have to. You have to get in their face. You have to force them to play a different game. And rushing at them, going for the dunk plays, that will do it. There's been a clear transition of power after the game 1 halftime, and that has gone to the MVNU Cougars. Since that point in this match, they've outscored their opposition 6-1. It's finally going to translate in a win for the Cougars. It's going to tie up this series, Tugboat, and it's going to make the rest of this series a whole lot more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was looking at these two teams thinking that this was going to be a 4-0 sweep one way or the other, like talented as they may be, and that's definitely going to put the nail was in the coffin about 15-20 seconds ago with a 3-score differential. This one just looked a little bit better for the scoreboard. So this one might end 5-2, 6-1, whatever. The result will ultimately be the same. That is Mount Vernon coming back at this one. Biggest changes between Game 1 and Game 2, Pyro. I'll start, and I think that really the biggest thing is that Mount Vernon has just shown consistency, and that is a consistency that's been lacking over this for the side of Dartmouth.
Oh my, is that a double to end it? Man, I really thought so. Yes, I'm right there with you. Game 2 is won by MVNU, and the changes had definitely been made. To me, it's more of a warm-up situation. I mean, we can see that Apple and Gritty Man are both incredibly mechanically inclined. And sometimes you got to assess the pace of the game before those mechanics shine. And it kind of took halfway through Game 1 to get there, but we are there. What we also need to keep in mind is for Mount Vernon Nazarene University, MVNU Cougars squad, this is the team that is the 1 seed. Of course, we expect this to be a close match, but the quarterfinals, the semifinals, both won with only dropping a single game. I'll talk about it. I don't know if those matches where they lost 1 game were in Game 1, just like we saw in this match, but it could be true that the Cougars just take a little bit of revving up the engine, a little bit of warming up, and once they're moving, there's no stopping them.
Yeah, I could definitely see that ultimately being the case. I was trying to open this one. No, it was Game 3 that they ended up losing. So it was actually like right there in the middle of this one. So
hypothesis busted.
I mean, different squad, right? Different squad. It's hard to directly relate individual teams, even if they might be within the same division. It's a good idea right there, but it really just seems like the Cougars have found their pace, and they have no reason to change the cruise control.
That's right. Yeah, if you got to set it at a cool 65, why change it at that point? You're hanging out in the right lane, letting other cars pass by, and it's because you're confident in the lane you have taken. Look at the confidence out of Gritty Man. Pass over to FaZe Booth. Nearly the bang we were looking for, but not what University of Massachusetts Dartmouth was looking for. They'll be happy to see that one away off the crossbar. They'll be happy to see this one saved by Mikey.
Couple of honest attempts here early. That one hit out to the right side. Gritty Man tries to set it up, and just a little bit too high. We have 3 total shots in the first 40 seconds from this Cougars squad. Speaking of, it just seems like UMass is a little bit more used to these longer situations, right? I mean, they're just coming off of a W against Fuel Esports Rising. That was 4-3 right there. So taking it all the way to the brink. Back it up, even a single round Pyro, and it was a 4-1 victory over Loyola University in Maryland.
Yeah, mostly strong wins. I mean, 3 of the 4 wins between these two teams in playoffs were 4-1, strong, convincing. And, you know, for Dartmouth, you're coming up against that 3 seed, so it's going to be a tough match. It's going to be a tough win. Whatever way you spin it, these teams collected their wins. They earned their position here, and now they're about to earn the first goal in game number 3. Domination just seems to continue. As you mentioned, Tugboat, they've put up so many shots already at the start of this game, and it's finally capitalizing their first goal for MVNU.
7 total, that being the actual 7th. Only 3 of them have been saved with only 1 goal scored, so obviously that tells us that some of them weren't like true value shots. It was just kind of the result of a ball going towards the net, maybe without a whole lot of intention. But 7-0 as of right now, and you can really see, I mean, this is a squad here. Oh no, no own goal, no own goal. Gritty Man does it to him for a second time.
See, I knew an own goal was coming. I just forgot when, you know. A little bit of pinball in front of the net. And yeah, for Dartmouth, not really where they were hoping that one was headed. It's understandable for the Corsairs because you've had to play so much defense. You just want to have presence in the net. And you want to try to defend shots, but from FaZe Booth for this double, there's no saving that.
Yeah, not much to it. Gets the 45-degree angle onto it in the perfect side, and there's nobody. I mean, if there is a mild change in the defense here for UMass that I might suggest, it'd be playing off the backboards like a little bit, and that sideboard, kind of like exactly where Candyman is. And look at that. As soon as he flips under it, and now it's possession of this UMass squad. Now, will they continue it? That's to be said. But what that wasn't was a very effective shot that forces the hand of a defender, sometimes even 2, because UMass has had to dedicate to so far multiple times.
Couldn't agree more, Tugboat. That backboard is oftentimes the most valuable real estate for players to get your offense rolling. You can see how it almost converted into a UMass goal. And unfortunately for them, Cougars are all over this ball. Got plenty of shots denied there on that possession. And they're looking to turn it around right here. Midfield ball out to FaZe Booth. FaZe Booth misfiring. Kind of ran out of boost in that situation. Shot goes downfield. It's going to be barely off target. Candyman up and at him just in case. Mikey with the spin maneuver. Pass one nearly through 2. Tall bouncer to a teammate. Will force 2 from the Cougars. This is a good chance maybe for UMass to capitalize. Around the corner. Gritty Man misses the touch. Here it is off the backboard. Shot's going to come through here. Unfortunately, just missed there from UMass.
But I will say they've spent more time on offense here in the past 2 minutes or so. And it feels like they may have in the entirety of that 5-1 drubbing in game number 2. Tries to get into it. Oh, Gritty Man with a real cheeky attempt at the very end. They read that out perfectly. And then it's going to be Gritty Man following it up with a demo right here. Kind of mad he missed the shot, apparently.
Got to take that Fury out in a good way, and the demolition is a nice way to open up the lane, create the avenue, set up shop, and nearly grab that 4th goal. FaZe Booth's shot is saved. A lot more saves in this game. University of Massachusetts, and that's good to start to, you know, lay the groundwork for a defense that could shape up for a better series. But in this game, defense is not going to collect a win for you, UMass. You've got about a minute to score 3. That means you got to get started now.
Yeah, I got to say, this Mount Vernon's defense squad, they have shown, like, no hesitancy whatsoever to meet the offender, to meet the ball carrier right in front of this net. Part of this is the crisp rotations, like they know teammates are going to be there back and block off any, like, crazy wayward shot that results from a 50. But part of it is just, like, straight-up confidence. And speaking of confidence, how about another hat trick for Greedy Man?
It's never ending. It's just relentless from Gritty Man. It comes off that backboard that you mentioned earlier, Tugboat. A free backboard that UMass was unable to defend that time around. Sometimes you run out of boost. You don't have the resources to actually get on the backboard and make a decent save out of it. Speaking of saves, that one really nicely blocked from UMass. So this game kind of out of their range, but they can certainly take notes from what the Cougars were able to show off in this game. Like you mentioned, the defensive rotation has been crisp. Start to see that from the Cougars as they just barely rotate in for that save. And in the final seconds, they'll look to close this one in style.
I swear, Gritty Man's kind of like Beetlejuice, except for saying Beetlejuice's name 3 times in a mirror. You just have to touch the ball twice, and bam, Gritty Man exists to take it away from you, or to demo you, or send you flying to the other side, or somehow get a hit like that redirect that we saw in game number 1 to find a goal from 0 possession. But another 4-score differential here between Mount Vernon Nazarene, these Cougs, and the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth Corsairs that have failed to find a whole lot of momentum since that game number 1, Pyro.
Yeah, I think what's especially a struggle here is after the 15 shots from MVNU, 4 shots still felt like an improvement, like an accomplishment for University of Massachusetts for what felt like a just roadblock to assert themselves over, to get 4 shots, to get some long-standing possessions, is really just a molehill compared to the mountain of the shot totals from MVNU. So that's the struggle right now for UMass, is their accomplishments just have nothing on their opposition. They've got to level up, Tug, in these next couple games.
I have to agree with you, and the thing is, they're not like, it's not like they're cutting rotations early. It's not like they're getting into the, okay, just block ball and don't clear it or try and get it to a teammate or anything else like this. There's not massive mistakes that this University of Massachusetts Dartmouth squad is making. It's just a really, really crisp offense and a really, really crisp defense on the other side. The first thing that a lot of people would go to say is like try and get a little bit more physical. We saw Gritty Man getting super, super physical in the previous game, and between bumps, demos, and more, there was a couple of goals that were just brought out of nothing from that physical play. At least try it at this point, because, I mean, obviously they've done a lot of, I mean, they played against this squad against the regular season. I'd be really hard-pressed to believe that they didn't watch this, both of these squads didn't watch each other's Rocket League gameplay a bit coming into this matchup, coming into the grand finals now here for D8. So there's got to be, like, little things you just pull at. If you find a thread, rip that thing, and the sweater's going to come off soon.
Yeah, and I think it's like build on whatever strengths you've been able to provide so far in this game. Like already in this matchup, I saw some great maneuvers in the midfield, some dribbling left to right. You mentioned that Gritty Man, you hit the ball twice and he's there, right? That fast pace can be beaten by just good car control, good ball control, right? Dribble flicking those players that are going to attack you at a moment's notice, that aren't going to give you that time and that room to breathe. So I do want to see some more confident control from that squad of UMass. So they've got a couple games still to do that, Tug. You know, we're dropping into game number 4, where MVNU, they're on a tear, but this series ain't over yet.
It's very true. It's very true. But this has got to feel like the pivotal moment in this matchup, because, I mean, no one wants to be in like the gentleman's reverse sweep situation. You took down 1, and then you have to do 3 in a row against a squad like this that has outscored you 9-1 in the past 10 minutes of Rocket League, folks. No overtime so far. There hasn't even been close to it outside of that game number 1. Good defensive block, and this should even be picked up by Mikey. It is. So this is what I'm talking about, actually, at Pyro, when I talk about, well, there's the physical play as well. I feel a little bit vindicated there. But this is what I'm talking about when I say it's not just a clear, it's going to be like an attempted pass or something across the middle instead of just hitting ball as best you can so it goes the other way.
Right, you don't want to hand away the rock the second that you get some time on it. You can see the Gritty Man knows exactly how to do that. Look at their proximity to the ball, whether it's an air dribble, whether it's a kick off the wall. They're close to the ball. That challenge comes through. They can at least get a 50-50 there. Wonderful chance for Dartmouth to get a shot to go there. Just couldn't get the read off the backboard. Opportunities present. Goals somewhere to be found. Zaf is the closer.
There you go. For the first time since game numero uno, this UMass squad is going to score first. a game they would go for, which of course means the team that scored first would go forth to win. Now, in a 5-1 4-0, I'd say that matters a little bit less than it did in that game number 1 that did end the 3-2. Here's another one, Candyman, almost free right there. What were they seeing there to not have bid in on that like immediately once the lane opened up, Pyro?
I mean, it comes down to the vision sometimes, and it comes down to the rotation, right? If the comms aren't crisp, if you're not in the right spot, then you've just got to move around the field and be where you need to be at that moment's notice. The reaction may not have worked in that moment, but listen, for UMass, they've been able to turn the tides. Okay, they've got the lead in what's been a long time since they've seen it. They just got to set up shop, make a couple saves, especially as Cougars are breathing down your neck here. Good tall pass up off the sidewall. Savior is there in the Corsairs. But that ball's going to bounce away. Half-court play from MVNU, keeping this one neutral.
About 10 seconds outside of halftime right now. A little bit of confidence behind this Corsair squad. They're sailing forth with swagger in their step. I like it. Midfield pitch play has not really been dominated by Mount Vernon in the same way that it has. And a bouncing ball blocked. Booth keeping the score difference within 1.
Tell you what, that Dominus hitbox on the new Simpsons car is so good for the flicks. Zaf making the flicks look beautiful, but you mentioned it, Booth, with a heroic save. That's going to keep Massachusetts still in this one. Booth trying to get up for another play. That's another midfield beat against the Cougars. Again, those are the kind of swinging plays that I like to see from Dartmouth. Their ball will go wide for MVNU, so I'm not sure how much longer it can last just this 1-0 lead, Tugboat, but it's lasted into the final 2 minutes.
I have to agree. Now, UMass has been nursing this lead, and it's a fantastic one. I'm not saying like that, but there's been a couple of problems on offense about just finishing. They have these fantastic plays drawn up. They have possession. They even get the passes in sometimes, and whether by hook or by crook or maybe even a little bit of luck, they've so far been able not been able to get that one in. Now a sustained Mount Vernon offense is going to result in a goal, and we have a classic 90-second drill.
Yeah, that one's going to go in. Equalizer. We were kind of saying that it was almost inevitable that that tying goal was going to come through. Massachusetts would have to get a second, and it managed to do so. So, minute 30, 90 seconds. We'll see which team has the response as another demo comes out.
Who just wants it more? I'm going to say that's Mikey with some physical play. Now escorting the ball all the way through a shot. It takes 2 members of these Corsairs to block it, but block it they do. Pressure not alleviated yet, though. Shot again, and this one is too fast. FaZe Booth punching their ticket back into the lead with about 65 seconds to go.
Oh, that is just a clean power shot right there. We've seen Booth heat up this game with an incredible save. And on that one, well, it's just going to be the shot that may seal the deal. But we've seen fight out of the Corsairs so far this game. I wouldn't give up on them just yet.
Oh no! I mean, this is a game that they came out and won on top of the backside. But again, the defensive breakdowns from the University of Massachusetts. This time, a little bit of, I mean, you kind of have to read like these in the front. Oh no, never mind. That was Apple with, okay, they just kind of threw their car at the ball and happened to redirect at the very, very end. Luck, hook, crook, however you get it right. They're going to take that one. And it still was, I mean, they're still in the lead. That was just a 2-score lead. This is still able to come back from, but that just got a lot harder. Absolute breakdown of the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth Corsairs right now, man.
I normally wouldn't mention it, but it's starting to feel like a Booth curse. We said it twice in a row. Hey, Mass, you're not out of this. And then they gets scored on twice in a row. That is just tragic. They faced this 3-goal deficit before. No, it's a tough one to get across. And with MVNU performing as well as they are, they turned it on for the final 2 minutes here.
Okay.
Okay, indeed. If it's anyone, it's going to be Zaf to get UMass back on the board.
So it's a great hit, and then they get onto backboard, ready for this to come out here, so they can hit it back down to a teammate. That's what I talk about, finishing a play and not counting those points on the board until they're actually there, right? Until that number changes. 2-4 as of right now, so there's a little bit of life maybe, and regardless, they're not going to get demolished from this, but then they double commit on offense and take away a solid opportunity from their teammate and waste about 12-13 seconds.
I gotta hand it, to Corsairs. They have set up as many chances for themselves to score as is needed. Mikey tries to get that late dunk. Gritty Man saves maybe the last attempt for the University of Massachusetts to come back in this one, but it is sealed. It is done. MVNU are going to win game number 4. They will be 1 game away from being your NECC Division 8 champions.
You want to talk about clutch factors. FaZe Booth has to be in that sentence, man. 6 total shots from this MVNU Cougars. 5 of them coming from the same player, from Booth. 3 saves as well, a pair of goals and an assist. Get that MVP trophy out. You better start writing FaZe Booth on it right now.
Yeah, listen, and I was the first to count Booth out. I'll be so honest with you, because we had just wrapped up a play where Booth was on the bottom of the leaderboard for the team, and it was unbelievable mechanics displayed by their teammates. And I said, okay, you know what? He's taking a back seat. He's keeping the fundamentals working. There's nothing wrong with that. He's keeping the team squared. But it's clear that whatever player needs to do it for MVNU, they will put the cape on. They will be the hero that takes the squad to a championship. And I love to see that save shot combination that we did out from Booth in that game. Tugboat, it's looking like enough to be our Div 8 East champions.
Yeah, and we are 1 game away from that being the case. If MVNU is able to take this one down, this will be a quick 4-1 exit. Now, we haven't seen, and you can't really be surprised, right? Again, I would have been incredibly surprised if this one went down to a 4-0. Now, speaking of, I do want to go ahead and give you guys results. Transy Esports, that's what's written down here. Fuel Esports rising, losing in 4-0 fashions. That's actually the only sweep in this entire D8 bracket.
Wow. Yeah, no, there weren't any sweeps. And hey, for Transy to pick up a 3rd place in the division is fantastic. Congratulations to their team. Obviously missing out on the finals, taking a 1-4 loss to MVNU. And UMass had that Game 7 against Fuel, so that's just going to strengthen the resume right now for MVNU Cougars. The fact that the team they handily beat. Look out the strong-willed opponents against UMass. MVNU just, they keep lining up. It's the storyline, it's the shots, it's the comebacks, it's the goals. They've got almost too much to count them out.
Some offensive opportunities so far. Both teams credited with a shot, and both teams credited with a single save. Zaf, who really, honestly, if we want to talk, like we talked a lot about FaZe Booth on the other side. Candyman, sure. Mikey, absolutely, especially on the defensive side. But Zaf has really turned on the afterburners on some offensive plays that has brought this UMass squad, in their round 1 win, and brought them pretty darn close there in the previous game 4.
Right. That's right. Let's see what comes to fruition for this game, though, as, hold on, a loose ball to the net. Okay, Tugboat, we'll watch the replay. I'm pretty sure this one was an own goal. Oh, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, and the insult to injury to hit the ball and then get demoed. Oh, brutal. Brutal.
Yeah.
So, going to be a 1-score lead here for the Nazarenes. Cougars, excuse me. Apple was flying in at this ball. Kind of hits off at the middle way of that shot attempt. Sent flying. Apple, a bouncing ball to the ground. This is a pass to nobody, but still the defenders have to play it.
Yeah, there's no choice but to do so. Candyman, nice pass out to their teammate, though. And Mikey up and Adams. Great reactions for University of Massachusetts to tie it up.
Yeah, and this is all completely purchased by Candyman climbing the ladder right there, getting up to this one. No, it's not some huge 100-mile-an-hour shot to the top right corner or anything else like that. No, Pyro, it doesn't need to be. Teammates there, and we have a tied ball game.
That's fantastic. That is the grit that you expect from a championship-making team of the Corsairs. They're strong-willed. not willing to give up. They will expend the resources on a counterattack to make sure that tying goal happens. But what can they still have on the defensive end? I surely thought we'd get a touch out from the last defender here, but from Gritty Man, it's just so hard to get in front of their goals.
Another goal, another assist, 3 goals total in this one. All of them assisted thus far, and a pair of saves for both squads. Obviously, the difference being that right there for the Cougars, 2-1, 25 seconds outside of halftime. Kickoff 1 right here, though, but it's just literally put it right on the numbers, right in the breadbasket of that blue player. I believe that was FaZe.
Yeah, you love the teamwork from Cougars. You can tell it's a team that, while they played with each other through the season, they decided to work on the strengths of themselves as a unit.
No.
But sometimes you don't need a teammate. Booth with another double.
Man, oh man. So everybody on the side of this Cougars squad going to get one, and that is going to be another own goal. I was talking so well about Zaf and how well they've been playing on the offense right here. They try and cut it back to defense. Not going to like the result. Down by 2, halftime in game 5, down by this match point, series point, championship point for your division. What do you do, UMass? Let's see it.
Yeah, let's see it. It all comes down to these next couple of minutes. Realistically, it comes down to this next minute. We've seen MVNU put together plenty of 3-goal leads. UMass has to stop that from happening. I like this downward pass to Mikey. This time it's intercepted, though. MVNU understand exactly the strengths of UMass. And if you can cut away those counterattack passes, then you've taken out their most lethal component.
And it just becomes more and more, it seems like that the next goal here is going to be the defining factor. If that goes the way of the Cougars and a 3-score difference shows its head with sub 100 seconds to go, then that feels like the nail in the coffin. If it goes the ways of the Corsairs and this brings it back from the brink to a 1-score differential, then this is anybody's game.
Couldn't be more right about it. Will that next goal come through? And if so, from who? Right now, MVNU are the ones with possession, but FaZe just can't get a handle of the ball.
Oh my
In
God,
fact,
no.
Nobody can get a handle of the car. It's 5 p.m. on a Friday. It's a traffic jam in the corner of the field. And in this gridlock, it's going to be the Corsairs to get out. But Apple has some contests to make. That's Gritty Man with the block as well. 60 seconds left. MVNU, no more time to waste.
Double commit on the offense. They would have loved to have a player back for Gritty Man's rebound. Oh, man, 45 seconds to go right here. If they find it in the next 15 or so, then it's going to, obviously there's going to be a score difference, but it's going to feel like a clean slate type situation, Pyro, with just 1 to go that can be done at 000s. That said, they need one and pretty much need it right now.
I love that slow play, though, that we saw from Gritty Man. Instead of flicking into the ball and making a risky play, instead played the ground controlled play. And from the ground, Gritty Man puts up a half-court shot that stuns everybody and may just seal the match.
3 scores, 30 seconds. Not even 30 seconds here, Pyro. I'm not calling it until those say 000s and there's more than a 1-score differential, but it's definitely going to feel like it here. Bouncing ball across the middle, and this is, that was the Cougars. It looked like they were kind of cool with just holding on to possession. Another 5 seconds or so bounced off of this as a ball hits the ground. Candyman just tries to get it back towards that way, and now I think we can officially call this. 10 seconds to go, 3 scores. Not sure if that's going to happen, my friend.
It will not. There it is. Mount Vernon, Nazarene University, the Cougars are your NECC Division 8 East champions off of the 4-1 series. A convincing win for this team.
Fantastic performance here. Shout out to FaZe Booth, Gritty Man, and Apple. Want to give a shout out to the coaching staff. I believe that's Doster. That's the name that we have written down, as well as we know that no team gets there or gets here by themselves. The shooting differential pretty much remained the same throughout all of these. I believe it was that game number 4, and of course that game number 1. They were a lot more close, a lot more even-handed here, and even sometimes UMass kind of like making more with less, but that was not a theme whatsoever that was shown across all 5 of these games, and it was just a slow burn for the side of Mount Vernon. Fantastic job for them, D8, and hey, maybe they'll be looking at a division less than 8. A little bit less than 8 because the higher the You understand what I'm saying? Division 1 being the
I'm with
highest.
you.
Get
I'm
what
with you.
There you go.
Hey, but at this point, they have earned that Division 8 champion right. This is something to really be proud of because it may be one of those higher numbers. It may want to be one of those lower divisions in the count for NECC. But what was proven today is that Division 8 brings the fangs. They bring the fight. I mean, this was a Rocket League match with some top talent in the collegiate scene. So I'm very impressed with this Mount Vernon squad, and they have a bright and successful future ahead of them here when the spring semester comes up. But hey, it's been a hard-fought tournament for them, Tugboat. Now it's time to kick up their feet and enjoy, appreciate the win because they earned it.
They do. And what you all have earned now is, we want to start out with a little D8, right? And get you guys accustomed to it, to the fire and the fire and the fireworks and everything else like that. Because up next, folks, we got a pair of banger matches. Indiana Tech, Team A, taking on Northwoods for your Division 1 Grand Finals. Bracket reset capabilities there. We'll talk about it when we get back from a short break. D2, that'll be Davenport Red and Carthage Firebird Red. A rematch of the D2 upper finals there, PyroJ. When we finish that out, that'll be the last game of our broadcast. For now, though, FBI Tugboat PyroJ, short break. We'll be back with you guys at the top of the hour, so you got about 6 minutes or so.